Hi, I'm Mark Garner, independent estate agent in Telford and Walsall, and today I'm going to talk about my top 5 tips for first-time home buyers. And you're going to want to stick around for tip number 5 because this will make your offer stand out above 99% of everybody else that's offering on the same property as you. So let's get straight into it. Okay, so tip number 1 is get your finances in order and work out exactly how much you're prepared to spend on your mortgage each month. So you want to do a monthly budget. You want to put everything down that you are currently paying out: food, rent, insurance costs, car expenses, socialising, any clubs that you belong to. Do you smoke? Do you use money for beer regularly on the weekends? Is there anything from that budget that you're prepared to cut out that you can put towards your mortgage? Now, the other thing is, once you've got that figure of what you have available to spend on a mortgage each month, you then want to ask yourself, do you want to spend that full amount? If you are maxing your budget out, what's going to happen? Let's say you get a 2-year fixed or a 5-year fixed. At the end of those periods, if interest rates rise, have you given yourself a buffer zone? So when you're looking at your budget, make sure that you incorporate some sort of buffer zone into that. So if interest rates do rise, you are prepared to deal with that in the future. Tip number 2 is speak to a financial advisor. Now, you can search online for financial advisors, you can ask family members, you can ask friends, you can go and visit the bank. One thing I will say though is when you are speaking to a financial advisor, you want to deal with an advisor that has got access to the whole of the market. If you go direct to your bank, they may very well be limited to the amount of products that they've got to offer you, and the best deal that they can get you may not necessarily be the best deal that's on offer in the open market. So speaking to a financial advisor that has got access to the whole of the mortgage market is probably going to be your best bet. Now, speak to a few financial advisors. Some advisors will take application fees off you, some won't take fees at all up front. They get paid off the lenders, but you want to speak to 2 or 3 financial advisors. Find out the exact ins and outs of what their costs are, what you need to potentially pay up front, like survey fee, mortgage application fee. Do they charge an administration fee for putting the application together? All those things you want to take into consideration when you're looking at the mortgage, because a lot of the times those costs can add up and you may think you're getting a great deal on the rate, but in the long run, the amount of money that you're going to pay up front may mean that a rate that's slightly higher with another lender and another broker could actually be the better deal for you. So make sure you speak to at least 2 to 3 financial advisors. Tip number 3 is do your research. Now, what I mean by this is you need to spend a lot of time scouring those property portals, looking at properties, looking at their size, location, have they had extensions done, have they had kitchens, bathrooms replaced in recent years. You need to factor in all these things when you're looking at a property, because you may get one property that is similar price to another property, but one of those properties is going to need 10 to 15,000 pounds spending on it to bring it up to the standard that you want. Also, you want to make sure that you're familiar with the area. Now, if you live local to the area, you're probably going to know what it's like anyway. If you move into a different location that you're not so familiar with, then what I would suggest is that you get out there on different days, different times of the day, and really get a feel for what it's like in the daytime, the nighttime, weekends. Even just get the opportunity, if you can, to speak to some of the locals in the area, get their opinion, find out what their experiences are, all to make sure that when you do commit to a property, you are happy with it, you're fully aware of any works that you may need to conduct on the property, and you make sure that you've budgeted for those works as well. And also, you don't want to be purchasing a property where a few months down the line you end up saying to yourself, why did we buy this house? Tip number 4 is instruct a solicitor. Now, you may be thinking, Mark, why do I need a solicitor before I found a house? And I will come on to that in tip number 5. So what you want to do is speak to a minimum of 3 solicitors. My advice would be to stick to companies that are local to yourself, just in case you do need to take anything into the office. Now, solicitors, they will have their own legal fees, and then they will have fees for disbursements. Most of the solicitors will have the same disbursement fees. They are set fees that go to other people. The solicitors tend to not make any money off that at all. They make their fees from the legal fees that they charge. You know, these can vary depending on the solicitor. So your solicitor's costs could be anywhere from £1,100 to £1,700. It's just going to depend on the solicitor and the legal fees that they charge. What I will say is a lot of people these days have been tempted by these online conveyancing firms. Now, I have to deal with solicitors on a daily basis, and I speak to a lot of other agents that have to deal with these online conveyancing firms as well. And although you can get the odd good one that is very responsive to you and will come back and answer your questions in a timely manner, my experience is that 95% of these online conveyancing firms, they're very hard to deal with, and for me to get answers to push a sale along through to completion can be very difficult and time intensive. Now, the reason a lot of people use them is because their legal fees tend to be a lot lower than your traditional solicitors in the high street, and this is why people want to use them. But trust me, 95% of the time you are going to regret it, and you're not going to get the level of customer service that you expect and that you'll receive from a more traditional legal institution on the high street. Okay, so tip number 5, the one you've all been waiting for, is how to stand out above 99% of the other people making offers on the same property as you. So when you're dealing with estate agents, they want to know that any buyer that's putting an offer forward is serious. And I guarantee you there's not many people out there that are doing this, because I have to deal with these kind of people all the time. And if somebody comes to me with what I'm about to tell you, then I know they're deadly serious. So when submitting an offer to an estate agent, what you want to do is give them a bit of an information pack, really. Provide them with your proof of ID, proof of address, your mortgage agreement in principle, your proof of deposit funds. You also want to provide them with the solicitor's details that you've instructed to act on the purchase of the property. All this information is going to say to the estate agent, look, this is my offer, I'm serious, I'm ready to move. I guarantee you that agent is going to be thinking, wow, I've got everything I need here to progress this sale as soon as that offer is accepted. Whereas in most instances, an offer's accepted and then we have to go and chase the buyers. Can I have your proof of ID, proof of address? Can I have your proof of mortgage agreement in principle, deposit funds? Can I have your solicitor's details? And sometimes this can add another week or so onto the progression of a property completion. So by doing this, you are going to stand out above 99% of everybody else making an offer on that property. So there you have it, guys. Those are my top 5 tips for first-time home buyers. I'm Mark Garner, independent estate agent in Telford and Walsall. If you've got any questions for me whatsoever, you can always reach out to me on any of the social media channels that you've found this video on. My contact number is 077 89 647 226. My email is mark.garner@exp.uk.com. And if you need some referrals for mortgage brokers and you're in the Walsall or Telford area and you want some solicitors that you can speak to, feel free to reach out to me for that as well. Well, that's it for now. Have a great day, and I'll see you on the next video.